So there will be times where you want to make sure that your cash is correct. That's one of the most important accounts that we want to make sure is accurate. So to determine the amount of cash that matches the balance of the cash in your records or the general ledger, that's called proving cash. Now, where do we get this proof of cash? Way back when, last chapter, we talked about your source documents. And in the checking source document for the check, there is the balance brought forward and on certain dates. So that is what should match the very last check that is in the checkbook. The balance brought forward should match whatever that balance is of the cash account. Okay, so again, we're looking at the next unused check stub to identify the cash balance brought forward, and then we're looking at the cash ledger account to see the current balance, and they need to match. If they equal, cash is proved and you're good. However, there are times where maybe they don't match up. So an incorrect entry has to be corrected. Your cash has to match, and if not, then you have to figure out why. So typically in an event where this happens, an account may have been debited when it should have been credited, or at times there might be somebody mistaked a miscellaneous expense for an advertising expense. And so that is two examples in which we would just correct that entry. When that happens, the source document for correcting is a memo. Okay, so that way there is a source document that describes what happened and it's easily corrected. So for example, April 17th discovered a payment of cash for advertising in March. It was journalized and posted in error as a debit to miscellaneous expense instead of advertising expense. $120, memo 15. So the memo is your source document. And now we just have to do that correcting entry, okay, in the general journal. Now, I know I said that there would be very few circumstances that we would ever have an expense be credited. This is one of those because mistakes have to be corrected. You don't want that on your books. So in order for this to be corrected, this April 17th one, you're going to debit the correct expense for the correct amount with the new memo, and you will then credit the one that was done in error for that same amount. Then you would go to the post what the error was. So then you'd go to the miscellaneous expense general ledger account. You would post the correct thing on the date of April 17th. And then you would go to the miscellaneous expense general ledger and you would credit it for $120 with, again, you're on journal 17, but then you'd also post that there when that is done. So that is how you prove cash.